It's looking really good. Yeah, heavyweight champion wTsaint in the house, you know what I'm saying? Look, don't put this video. Don't put that video. Don't do it.
Hi guys, happy new year to those who remember that they've not seen me this year. Sorry I haven't done a video in a long time. That's because I've been wanting to make sure that the next video that comes out is this very video that you're watching right now. I don't have a title for the series just yet, but it's an idea that I've had since way back in 2016. I actually started it out as a magazine. I had 2 volumes. It's called Filmmakers magazine, and I always hoped that one day I would be able to turn it into a full show. So the aim of this show really is to speak with filmmakers and talk about the challenges that they faced and how they overcame it, because by doing that we get to learn.
Hello everyone, my name is wTsaint. I'm a filmmaker, Nigerian filmmaker based in the UK. I bumped into filmmaking from my days working on television. I used to be a sound engineer and I used to be an artist. I used to record songs. Don't put that video, don't do it. So yeah, I used to sing, and then I got a job as a TV sound engineer, and then from there I picked up interest in video, and 8 years later I'm a cinematographer, videographer. I just feel like cinematography rings better, and I've shot films, music videos, I've done weddings, corporate videos, documentaries, and the likes. I just like to try my hands on anything when it comes to filmmaking.
I really hoped to have had a one-on-one interview with Tayo, but as I quickly began to realize, I am literally at the mercy of the time schedule of whoever it is that I'm supposed to bring on the show. Tayo is actually the 3rd person who happened to have come through out of the other 2 people that I have been contacting for weeks and weeks ahead of time. So hopefully for the next one, it's going to be a lot more interactive between me and whoever it is that will bring it on the show. In the meantime, do enjoy, and I'll catch you later.
It was a very spontaneous film. I just wanted to do something away from just creating content. I wanted to do something that was close to me as a filmmaker. I came up with an idea of, this looks beautiful on camera, but this is our reality living in a foreign country. The temperature is not as favorable like in Nigeria. You have to still go out to work in these adverse conditions. I mean, it was cold, it was really freezing, and I remember my days when I first moved into the country where I had to go for shift, I had to go for care shift, warehouse shift, and I realized how tough it was for me to survive then with this very terrible conditions and still be able to deal with people from back home asking me for money. And I think those are the best ideas. You can't write what you don't know. You can't write what doesn't really interest you.
And by the way, if you have a project that is available somewhere like online or on YouTube where the audience can actually watch, so that when you're talking about these things we can actually see what it is that you're saying, and you would like to be on the show with our few subscribers, do reach out, indicate in the comments or contact me personally, and we'll definitely figure out the time. Please leave a comment, any comment at all. You can just put your name and where you're from. It helps the algorithm so that more people can view this video. All right,
there was really no permits. It's not like Nigeria where you can just pick up your camera and go on the street and start filming if Agberos will not disturb you. But here I feel like it's fairly easier because you can just write to the council, ask for permission, send them an email, and maybe in 2 weeks they will reply you and tell you yes or no based on XYZ reasons. So I didn't have to hide the camera inside my winter jacket. In terms of lighting, I relied on the camera. I've used the A7S2. That's a fantastic beast when it comes to low light, but this is an A7III, and I wanted to test if this was able to handle low light, so I didn't use any light at all. The only light I used were available lights from the bus station.
Lesson time. Now please, Tayo said he didn't use light. That doesn't mean that there were no lights in the scene. So please, those of you that say if you are using Sony cameras you don't need light, please don't say that thing. Don't allow thunder fire you and your camera. If you find yourself in a situation where you cannot bring in your own lights, say you were shooting outside like he was, find a street light. Move your character to where that street light is. If it is the security light of a building, move your camera to where that security light is. If they have dog run, make sure that there is a source of light in your scene.
I saw a location that had light at the back, and I saw that was good enough for backlighting, and I just made sure my character sat in a way that some light was falling on the side of her face. It's all about knowing what you want to create and going for it. So I knew I was going to create a dark film, but not too dark that you can't see the person. I wanted to just create a sense of gloom. I didn't bounce any lights. There was no bounce was going on. Everything was basically low lights. Opened my aperture up. I used a 50mm 1.8, and I was fully open on it all through the film. I'm not sure of the ISO. I think I changed the ISO a couple times, but I didn't go too far. I just made sure the camera could capture enough data, and in post I'll be able to clean things up because I didn't want noise in the footage.
Lesson time. Now, as Tayo said, he shot wide open. What that means is he shot at the widest that his lens could afford him. Now, when you pick up a lens and you read the descriptions, you would see something like Sigma 30mm f1.4. That 1.4, that is the maximum aperture. So that is what he was shooting at. What that does is that allows the most light to come in through the lens. The smaller that number, the better that lens will serve you in a low light situation.
My biggest challenge on this project was filming in the cold. It was really cold. I was filming with someone that was for the first time acting. Shout out to Onyi. She had no experience acting, at least when I asked her. And so I was like, yo, I would like to take a challenge and film with you. I would have to prompt you. So it meant that for every action you saw on screen, I was basically telling her the emotion behind the camera. I'd be like, so at this point you're sad. At this point you're frustrated. So act like this. I intentionally wrote this film not to have a lot of dialogue also. Not to have any dialogue, because it takes an actor that can read lines to be able to memorize lines, and I understand what it takes to act, and I'm not going to put down someone that was doing me a favor to just act in my film. So again, shout out to Onye. Thanks a lot for being a good sport. The challenge for me was having to film that in the cold, and also for her to survive that in the cold. She had to she was really shivering in some of the scenes. It wasn't acting, it was genuine shivering because it was really bitterly cold on the day. I had to figure out the script on the spot. I think that was a challenge also. Yeah, I wrote everything out in let's say 10 minutes, and we had to film it immediately.
Lesson time. So Natalia said he also didn't bounce light. Light bounces off of the surface. So for example, I have a piece of white paper here, and you can see this side of my face is a bit dark with shadows. So if I just put it right here, there you go. By putting it here, this light is hitting this piece of paper and it's bouncing me here. Now, of course, we can't talk about shooting low light without talking about ISO. Now, you should be shooting with the native ISO of your camera. It's simply the ISO that the camera manufacturers have told us that, hey, our camera performs the best at this point. You get the most dynamic range, you get the best color reproduction, etc. So you normally want to shoot at the native ISO. However, you can go above and you can go below. You just need to do a little bit of a research. Get on the internet, find out what is the safe ISO that you can raise it up to, that the noise is reasonably okay for you.
The end bit where she walked off the scene, I wanted to keep the frame a bit longer so I can roll credit on it, but one guy just walked past and he saw me. The guy saw me and he just still walked past it. It was basically, he walked past it and was looking at the camera and doing it was frustrating. I was slapped the guy. Not everything works out, so when you have a plan in your head and it doesn't work out, don't let the team suffer because you want to do 3, 4, 5 more takes. Just let it go. It's not that deep, it's not a client job. Yeah, so teamwork makes the dream work. On this project, I worked with Oge. Oge did the voiceover.
Baby girl, I beg, say if you owe me 200,000 naira.
Adetola was with me. We basically worked on this project together. He was handling the beat here. Then Onye, of course. Onye was the actress on this. So it was just me. I was a director, writer, cinematographer, editor, colorist, everything. Yes, I have a lot of projects in the works. I have my major film, which I'm so proud of. It's called Gida Dambe. Gida Dambe is House of Dambe in English. It's a film about the guys in the north, the Dambe fighters in the north. They don't get a lot of recognition for the work they put in. So I decided to make a film about it, which I'll be releasing in the earlier quarter of this year. So from January to March, God helping me. and also just working on a lot of educational content, podcasts, talking about films, breaking down films. I have a Lazy Filmmaker podcast, which you guys will see Luke on. We break down some scenes, just look at the technical background of this thing, learn the good things and dump the bad things, basically. That's it. That's me talking about Black Tax, cinematic short film I shot on the Sony A7III. Thank you, Luke, for having me on this. It was amazing chatting with you. And you guys can follow me on Instagram. It's the Lazy Filmmaker. Very lazy. I like to make films and I'm very lazy.
And that is it, guys. Thanks to Tayo and thanks to you for sticking around watching till this point. And of course, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do, because it helps me know that I'm providing value to you, and that way I can make more of these kinds of content for you guys. Smash the like button and share with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one.
Am I recording audio? Yes.